2018 Toyota Tundra at your hometown Toyota stores. And by Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Little overcast. It was raining late this afternoon, but the field has been cleared of the tarp, and Carlos Gonzalez and teammates are ready to go. Tonight we celebrate Cargo as one of the Rockies' all-time top 25. You knew he'd be near the top. He's number 6. He's been a Rocky for more than a decade. Look at those numbers. In that 2010 season when he won a batting championship, he was also voted by his peers the Major League Player of the Year. He has had a special career. He has a special relationship with the fans here in this region. For more on Cargo, we go downstairs to Taylor. Taylor, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. There's no doubt the numbers you just saw are incredible for Carlos, but I gotta say, the swag factor and the smile had to factor into him being number 6 on our all-time top 25 greatest Rockies, and he had to say that number 6 to him is pretty special as well.
When I first, when I was a little kid playing in Venezuela, there were already more than 6 good players in this franchise, Going back to Andres Galarraga, which was the reason why we were watching games back home, Benny was in it, Larry, Dante, Ellis Burks, Ewald Jr., so many good players, and been in this great group, 25 great players in this franchise over 25 years. It's a tremendous honor for me.
Quite an honor it is. Don't forget to join in on this celebration using the hashtag ToyotaTalk25. Tweet us at AT&T SportsNetRM. It's going to be a fun night celebrating Carlos Gonzalez. Drew?
Absolutely. We'll have a lot of fun talking about number 5 and his exploits through the years, and maybe even tonight he'll do something big on the evening that we honor him. We are set for baseball. The Rockies are back in town, and they have been one of the hottest teams in baseball. It's Colorado. It's San Diego. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Drive, DJ LeMahieu, what a catch, ball game over. That is strikeout number 9 for Freeland. Bases clearing, triple for Desmond. Long run for Inciarte, and it is gone. DJ LeMahieu, one of the great victories of 2018. This ball's hammered deep left field. He's done it again. And the Rockies have now swept the Braves 4 straight here in Atlanta. What a road trip. And look at the National League West standings. The Rockies over the last couple of weeks have picked up 6 games. They're just a half game behind Arizona. They're 2 clear of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they're in a dead heat for the final spot in the wild card race. All is well with the Rockies. The boys are back in town, as Thin Lizzy sang a couple of decades back. I did that for Marino, by the way, Huey. And
I can't believe you remembered Thin Lizzy.
I thought, you know what, I was bouncing around on the radio the other day. Thin Lizzy came on, so there you go. The boys are back in town, and they're on a roll. They're fresh off 24 hours of non-activity. They had the much-needed day off yesterday. Here's the Southwest batting order for the Padres. They have been struggling. They have won just 15 of their last 55 games. Freddie Galvis first. Will Myers, that's not a misprint. He's at third base. Eric Hosmer, of course, came over from Kansas City in the offseason. He'll bat third. Then it's Renfro. Villanueva's got a lot of pop. Austin Hedges. Franmil Reyes in right field batting 7th. Manuel Margot, who in the past we've always seen him at the top of the lineup. He'll bat 8th tonight for Andy Green. And then Robbie Erlin, a left-hander, on the mound. A little bit more on Tyler Anderson. It'll be his 26th start tonight. And he had the ERA under 4 until 2 of his last 3 were not typical Tyler Anderson starts. And you know how competitive this kid is. He's going to bounce back tonight, I would think.
And he's pitched well against the Padres this year. This will be his 4th start. He's 1-0 with a 255. And nothing's really changed for Tyler. But I just want to highlight the cut fastball, the changeup, and the curveball, because all of those batting averages are below 200 against. The cutter 189, the changeup 190, the curveball 100.
Well, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, neither team took batting practice outside. It did rain late this afternoon, but we are optimistic that the rain is out of the way, and we'll play baseball tonight on a cool mid to late August evening. And the first pitch on the outside corner, strike 1 to Freddie Galvis.
You know what it's preparing you for, right? October baseball.
October baseball, you betcha. I like the way you're thinking. And Cutter's fouled off by Galvis, 0-2. One of the interesting stats with San Diego, they've actually, Huey, been a little bit better on the road. They're 26-35 on the road, which I know that's not a gorgeous record, but at home
compared to their home,
yeah, at home it's been a rough ride. 0-2, and that's lined to right, and that is a fair ball. Cargo is going to have to field it out of the corner. Galvis is going to stop at second base with a leadoff double.
This is what scares you about this team, the San Diego Padres, is they do have some guys, some veteran guys. I know the record's not good. It's the worst in the National League, 3rd in all of baseball. But on the Subaru Supermo, that pitch is left up to Freddie Galvis, who's hitting 276 right-handed this year. And he hits a double down the right field line.
Well, that'll bring up maybe the most dangerous guy in their lineup, Will Myers. Rockies missed him a few times earlier this year. That's a good pitch. That's probably where he wanted that 0-2 pitch.
Yes, exactly.
He was hurt earlier this year for quite a while. Healthy again, and they're experimenting, Huey, with playing him at third base.
Well, they figured they don't have anybody waiting in the wings. He's a good athlete. Why not try it? Now's the time to do it if you're the Padres.
Did not induce a swing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I thought it was a misprint, and just like you did, Drew. I thought, well, there's no way. They didn't mean to put a 5 down there. As in third base.
Yeah, crazy.
Because he's played some outfield. You know, he played first base.
Like that pitch, and it's 1-2.
He did play 15 games down in AA and AAA in 2012. This is just his 7th start, 8th major league game at third.
He was originally drafted as a catcher, which I did not realize. We were doing a little research on that this afternoon. So you know he's a great athlete. And this is a line shot right at DJ. Galvis read it. He got back. 1 out. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively, and they are terrific. We tell you that all the time defensively, but kind of one of the unspoken things about this latest run is how well they've played defense. And that outfield can run, and Dahl, Charlie in the middle, Cargo in right. Cargo's had a terrific year with the glove. David Dahl made a running catch a few nights ago that I don't know how many left fielders would have made.
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. Just a difference in the Atlanta series. Think about how that one of the games turned out. That the ground ball to Trevor to open the 9th inning, just a routine ground ball to short, was booted. The Rockies come back and win that game.
Here's Eric Hosmer. And Hosmer calls time. One more note on the defense. Actually, 2 more notes on the defense. The Rockies have allowed only 32 unearned runs this year. It's tied for 2nd fewest in the National League. Last 9 ball games, they've committed only 2 errors, and one of them for me is a sketchy one. Do you remember the pop-up Ryan McMahon had to run in foul territory down? Boy, this ball's well hit center field. Charlie going back, and this one is gone. 2-run home run. Eric Hosmer. And the Padres are off to a quick start. The old bugaboo, the 1st inning for Colorado.
Eric Hosmer is now 9 for 15 against the Rockies this year. He didn't wait around. He jumped on that on the Subaru Supermo. A high leg kick, but he puts it back down in the same spot, meaning that right foot, so his head doesn't travel further going out towards the pitcher.
So Hunter Renfroe steps in, and he takes a strike at the knees.
That's what's scary about this team. I mentioned it just a few moments ago. I was talking about it in the open. It's not like you can just. That's a good pitch.
Yep, Nolan's got it, and he'll throw out Renfroe. 2 gone.
But it's not like you can just say, okay, because the Padres are 49 and 78, we can just, throw the bats out there, throw the baseballs out there, and say, let's, that's going to be good enough. They're major leaguers. They got pride.
Tyler gave up 3 in the 1st inning in his last outing down in Houston.
That was after 4 batters.
Yeah, that happened quickly. This pitch misses to Villanueva. Christian's average just 236, but he's hit 20 home runs, and the Rockies have seen him go deep against them a couple of times. That's a good pitch.
Remember, he had that 3 home run game against the Rockies.
Trying to forget that one.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying that's what he can do. But he's playing second base tonight. First time Rocky's seen him do that.
It's pulled foul. And Villanueva has a .935 slugging percentage against Colorado this year. Colorado's won 7 out of the 12 games against San Diego. The Padres have played well here. They're 3-3 at Coors Field so far in 2018. But the Rockies, again, haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, May 15th was the last time they saw him, and that was a game that Jordan Lyles pitched down in San Diego. So completely different teams and where they are right now than where they were early in the season.
That is pulled into left, a base hit. Now Austin Hedges will come up. Rockies are used to playing in front of, huge crowds, 40, 45,000, 47,000 most of this summer. Tonight's probably going to be a little different. School's back in session for most kids. It's Tuesday night. It's a cool night. The weather has been an issue most of the afternoon. San Diego has struggled this year. That's a strike. Here's the thing Tyler knows. You gave up 2. That doesn't mean you can't have a good night still.
Well, how many times we've talked about the runs they've given up in the first inning, and then 5, 6, 7 innings later you're looking at it. That's still all they've given up.
Yep. David will make the catch in the inning. A double by Galvis, a 2-run home run to center by Eric Hosmer. So it's 2-0 San Diego. We recite the lineup every night since we're celebrating Carlos Gonzalez. How about Cargo gives you the Southwest batting order?
Leading off for the Rockies, Charlie Blackmon, center field. Batting second, DJ LeMahieu, second baseman. Hitting third, Nolan Arenado at third base. Trevor Story is going to be in shortstop. I'm going to be playing right field. Ian Desmond's first baseman. Davey Dahl is in left field. Chris Hayanera is catching, and Tyler Anderson is pitching for tonight's game.
How pleasant was that?
It's Cargo.
It's Cargo. It's gonna be cool no matter what.
Great.
Here's Robbie Erlin. Robbie's been in and out of the rotation, mostly working out of the bullpen this year as a long man, but his last 3 starts have been good ones for the diminutive left-hander.
Yeah, 1-0 with a 2.81 ERA.
Charlie's seen him well. He's 4 for 8 in his career against Erlin. There's what he features.
Yeah, fastball batting average against 255, changeup 293 for those 2 pitches. I think the one thing he does, though, is he throws strikes. Only 8 walks in 75 innings this year for Robbie.
Well, hopefully the Rockies can take advantage of that. Here's the 1-1, and that's in there for a strike. 1-2. Charlie showed signs of breaking out down in Atlanta, his hometown. Had a 3-hit ball game over the weekend, in fact. That was going to be an out at first. Charlie never contacted the baseball.
It's kind of strange. I kept waiting for the umpire to signal something, and he didn't. That's why Charlie took off. Hedges, I think, also was anticipating something else. So the Subaru Supermo. And so, oh, that's the sound I heard. It was going off the glove of Hedges. Because I heard the sound, so I thought it was a foul ball, but clearly it wasn't.
So here's LeMahieu. DJ all of a sudden hitting the long ball. A couple home runs down in Atlanta. A huge one in the 10th inning on Saturday. That incredible comeback. And then one early on Sunday.
That one on Saturday, that was big boy territory where nobody else. There was a lot of balls hitting that game that you're thinking, oh, that's got a chance to get out. Didn't even make to the warning track.
That's been the 3rd toughest park in baseball to hit home runs. This is a base hit up the middle for DJ. 8-game hitting streak for LeMahieu. Here's the Padres defensively. Will Myers at third base. We discussed that. It's just his 7th start ever there. And for Villanueva, it's just his 2nd start at second base. We'll see how that plays out. Got a really steady shortstop in Freddie Galvis. That helps a bit. Eric Hosmer's a good glove at first.
Galvis giving the sign to Villanueva. I think the biggest thing when somebody goes from third to second is obviously how are they going to make the turn. That's what you look at. When it's crunch time, is he going to be able to do it?
That's high on Nolan. Nolan's 5th in the league in hitting with that .309 batting average. Padres shift about as much as any team in baseball. It's one of the characteristics of an Andy Green managed team. The outfield right now swung toward left and very deep. And I say that, not surprising. You have one of the premier home run hitters in baseball. But a lot of times, Huey, we've noticed with teams that come here a lot, National League West teams, they won't play quite as deep in the outfield, figuring if it's over your head, a lot of times it's out of the ballpark, trying to take away the stuff in front.
The little bloopers. And talking to Spilly, talking to Corey about that, Sullivan, it's the same thing. Try to play a little shallow so you didn't get that blue ball in front of you. But if I'm Nolan, all I see when I look out there, of course, he's hitting over 400 against lefties this year. You mentioned the numbers overall, but if I'm Nolan, I see those guys playing so deep, I'm just thinking all I see is green grass. That's the only thing I see.
Nolan 5 for 10 against Erlin, including a home run, and now Robbie again misses up and away. It's 3-2. Start DJ here, Huey. What do you think?
I think so, but it's going to be one of those real late ones if he does.
Not going, and it's fouled off.
And maybe that's the reason, because it's going to be so late that if Nolan did strike out and throw him out by a mile, he might actually have more of an opportunity to go back to first base. So I just think the way Nolan sees Erlin, if you feel comfortable just leaving him there, that's fine too.
This will be an in-between hop, and it eats up Myers. So we featured Myers at third because it's still unfamiliar for him. And you saw that unfamiliarity play out right there. That is a straight E5 on a ball which you got to at least come up with one out on.
Yeah, but he got his glove so far back into his body, you can tell he played this into an air on the Subaru Supermo. His eyes are looking out in front, but you see where his glove was. So the last 2 feet, you don't see it going into your glove.
Hits blind spot,
yeah,
huh?
There's a complete blind spot. I mean, that was a tailor-made double play, and now you got first and second, and only one out for Trevor.
It was about as hot as any hitter the last few months in baseball. And this is up the middle. Erlin grabs it. There's one, and Villanueva to first, double play. That'll end the Rockies first. They can't take advantage of the error by the third baseman Myers. 2-0 San Diego going to the second.
bring us to the Pizza Ranch for the win. And we talked about it a little bit last half inning. You beat the best. We know what they did over those 46 ball games, 30-16. Now you have to beat the rest. 7-5 against the Padres this season. 3-3 here at Coors Field. And you go back to that first home series for Bud Black and his crew. Padres took 2 of 3 from you. You know, right out of the gate. But it has been a while. This has been about 3 months now since they've seen the Padres.
Well, 10 of their first 30 games were against San Diego. Franmil Reyes hasn't had a hit since August the 9th. He's 0 for his last 26 at the plate.
He was 0 for 8 in the Arizona series.
Arizona, speaking of a good team, has dominated the Padres, particularly in San Diego. They've lost only 1 game at Petco this year.
They just took 3 of 4 from San Diego and Andy Green's team. This past weekend down in San Diego at Petco.
And that is a blooper to right, and that ends the 0 for 25. So Reyes is aboard, leading off the second. That'll bring up Manuel Margot.
4 hits. The 2 of them now have come on 0-2 pitches.
First pitch to Margot is on the outside corner for a strike. Margot's hit decently on the road in August, 10 for 30 at home. It's been a tough go, 3 for 29.
That's just 103. That's sounds like an interstate in California, the I-03.
And probably one you don't want to be on.
No.
Margot is one of those guys in a tough year for San Diego last year. You know, they're playing young players. Margot is very impressive.
Young kid, too.
Yep. And he has a base hit. So Anderson struggling again out of the gate here. That's 5 hits. 2 on. Nobody out in the second. And Robbie Erlin coming up in a sacrifice situation.
Erlin 1 sacrifice on the year.
And Erlin gets good bunt down. Really good job by Desmond to come all the way down.
That was a good bunt by Erlin. Got to check that ball up in front of home plate.
So 2 in scoring position for Freddie Galvis. See how the Rockies play this with their infield. Galvis fell behind 0-2. Leading off the ball game, got a pitch away and lined it away to that right field corner. Leadoff double. Myers lined out, and then Hosmer hit first pitch he saw over the center field fence. That's why it's 2-0 Padres. Infield's back up the middle, even at the corners, and this is to center field. Here comes Charlie, and the throw is going to go to third. And there was no advancement or attempted advancement by Margot, but that's a sac fly, and it's now 3-0 as Reyes scores.
53rd RBI on the season for Freddie Galvis. At least early on here for Tyler, not getting the ball down.
No, and very good execution by the Padres. in the inning. He had 2 hits, perfect sac bunt. Galvis aggressive, lifted the ball to the outfield, and you have a run. And now you have Myers at the plate, Margot at second with 2 outs. And this is on 1 hop to short. Story, perfect throw to Desmond. In the inning, there were a couple of hits and another run on the fly ball to center field. Rockies work to do early, down 3-0. Cargo will lead it off when we come back.
There's no doubt that Carlos Gonzalez means a lot to a lot of people, whether that is the baseball player or the person. Earlier today, a young boy named Daryl granted a wish to meet Carlos Gonzalez and stand with him before the anthem. How cool is that? Special night for both of them. I mean, watching this, I wanted to cry. It was so special to see Cargo embrace him, and that's exactly what he's done with the city of Denver, you guys.
Well, we've gotten to know Cargo obviously very well over the last decade. You've heard from this vantage point us tell you how special a guy Carlos Gonzalez is, beyond his immense talent to play this game we all love. And when you see him with kids, it is so genuine. He's a guy that always signs autographs. He always spends time. He's a people person. That's outside, 1-1.
That's why the clubhouse loves him. That's why when they re-signed him this offseason, it was so big.
Remember the clubhouse in spring training when he came in for the first time? He signed after it was underway. He signed in early March, and the place erupted when he arrived.
Yeah, but not only that, then he went out and backed it up this year.
Absolutely. He's had a really good year.
That's the other part of the equation.
Got a pitch to hit there, worked underneath it a little bit to Renfroe and left, 1 out. Gonna bring up Ian Desmond. Desmond has had success also against Erlin. He's 3 for 7. What a series in Atlanta. Desi had 4 hits. He made them all worthwhile. He drove in 7 runs in Atlanta.
He had the 5 RBI night. Tied the season high for him. Almost 3 hits. That triple, that just got everything going in that game. With 2 strikes on him, it clears the bases.
It did, because it could have been one of those innings where the Rockies had a nice little threat put together. You think they're going to get at least one and don't come up with anything. And then he unloaded that, tripled the gap and left, and it became all Rockies from that point forward. That's the night the Rockies snapped a string of 24 in a row, scoring 6 runs or less.
That's right. We got tacos finally.
And this ball's well hit to right field. Going back is Reyes, and he'll catch it on the edge of the track. 2 outs. And that'll bring up David Dahl. David was 6 for 17 in the Atlanta series, including a home run. The more at bats, Jeff, that he gets left on left, you're going to see the numbers left on left, I think, really skyrocket.
No doubt. That's what you do in the minor leagues. You hit all lefties all the time. You don't platoon down in the minor leagues if you have somebody's talent like David.
Rockies done in the second. We'll go to the third. 3-0 Padres, first of 3 against San Diego. Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes Subaru a Subaru. We want to wish that man right there behind the camera a big happy birthday. Stevie Brown. Stevie's been doing this for, well, a long time. We won't tell you how many years. So long, his son Dylan's now been in the business for like 20 years.
Happy birthday, Stevie.
You bet, man. Have a great one. Glad you're spending it with us. Eric Hosmer, 2-run home run, his first time up. And a cutter in there for a strike.
Well, here's the StatCast AI, and it's powered by AWS on this home run. 438 feet. Hit off the bat at 107 miles an hour was the exit velocity.
His 13th home run this year. He now has a 9-game hitting streak. What the Padres got from San Diego in the big free agent signing of Hosmer. Change up, strike 3. That was a good pitch right at the bottom of the zone. He didn't like it, but good call by Gabe Morales.
And I think when he goes back up into the clubhouse and reviews this, he'll see that indeed it was a strike. Change up on the Subaru Supermo. Was at the bottom of the zone.
That'll bring up Hunter Renfroe. I was just saying, with Hosmer, you got a really steady player both ways. Not a superstar, but a really steady guy both ways, who's a big time presence in a young clubhouse.
And I think that's part of the reason why they gave him as much money as they did, to kind of help nurture some of these young kids along. You know, because he's been on a on a world championship team.
A lot of good teams, you're right. Nolan will handle this. Renfro's gone. 2 outs.
Well, fans, MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $59.99. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions may apply, so you can visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer.
Here's Christian Villanueva. He had a base hit through the left side his first time up. It's hurt the Rockies, man. He had that 3-homer game we talked about. He's got 11 hits and 31 at-bats against the Rockies, and 6 of them have been bombs. And this ball is fairly well hit, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. David Dahl on the edge of the track calls it in, and that's a 1-2-3 inning, much needed for Tyler Anderson. Took him only 7 pitches. 3-0 San Diego. Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Coors Field, Rockies back in town. 3 against the Padres, 3 against the surging St. Louis Cardinals. Rockies the season best 12 above 500 as Chris Iannetta takes strike 1 against Robbie Erlin. With Jeff Houston and Taylor McGregor, I'm Drew Goodman. Glad as always that you are with us. The second pitch of the inning from Erlin is inside. Iannetta, Anderson, and then the top of the order. Tried to spot that ball outside, could not. Two and 2. Good take.
Now you're not sure what's going to come from Earl, because I know he's been a bullpen guy, but he also has 4 pitches, all the standard pitches that you look for, and he comes back.
He goes changeup.
That's what I mean. You don't know what he's going to throw, and that's a hard thing. But the other thing is how everything was down in that Subaru strike zone.
I'll bring up Anderson. I think there's a tendency when you come back and you have the conditions like they are tonight, and you fall behind very quickly, people may be home saying, well, the Rockies are flat. You can just tell they're flat. And I think that's sometimes, you know, a misnomer, because they're facing a guy they haven't seen in a little while. He's a guy that can make you look, I don't want to say silly, because it's not uncomfortable at bat, but you know, he gets guys out front a little bit.
Well, and sometimes they're quick at bats too, because you know he's going to be pitching around the zone. I mentioned he only had 8 walks coming into the game, so you don't want to fall behind, so you'll swing at some early pitches.
Charlie drives this to right. This will work out nicely into the corner, and Reyes taking his time to get it back in. In fact, Charlie digging towards third will have a triple. 6th triple this year for Blackman. He had a triple over the weekend down in Atlanta.
Well, as I just mentioned it, Drew, that a guy around the zone, you're going to hop on that first pitch, and that's what he did. He turned around on the Subaru Supermo, ripped it down into the corner. A little bit of trouble down here with Reyes and trying to get the handle on it. And Charlie was digging the whole way. He knew what was happening, so he said, I'll go ahead and take that triple. And I'm a wild pitch away if DJ doesn't throw it, drive me in.
DJ has the other hit for the Rockies, a single up the middle. Back up the middle. Galvis got to get the first. Base hit. Rockies on the board.
Well, just like that.
That was almost identical to his first hit. 41st RBI for LeMahieu. A little 2-out run.
Yeah, I think if he catches this on the dirt, then he's going to be able to get up and make that spin and throw. But because he's on the grass, look how far he slides on the Subaru Supermo. You really never can stop because of the rain that had been here early. And then once you put your hand down, what happens? It gets all wet, the ball pops out of it. That's exactly what happened to Freddie Galvis.
So here's Nolan. He reached on an error by Will Myers in the first. I was going to say a moment ago, it'll be interesting this second time through against Erlin.
First time through, opponents hitting .219. Second time through, .315. Third time through, .333.
He's one of those classic guys. It's why he's been working long hole primarily this year for the Padres. And this ball's well hit center field. On the move is Margot, and he can't make the catch. LeMahieu will score. Nolan in a second with a double, and it's 3-2. Well, Margot did everything but catch the baseball. He got in the neighborhood, and you thought it was going to be a 420-foot out.
And I think Nolan thought that too when he hit this ball. Let's not forget it's 62 degrees at game time here. So the ball's not carrying like we've seen before. Got a little shy as that ball got towards the wall. Nolan hit this well. Then he's thinking, oh no, is he going to catch it? Yeah, he's going to catch it. No, he's not. It's going to be a double now for Nolan and his 87th RBI, and all with 2 outs.
And now a base hit away from tying it up with Trevor at the plate. He hit it to a 1-4-3 double play his first time up. That's at the bottom of the zone for a strike.
Yesterday, the Rockies scored 4 runs. 3 of them came with 2 outs. There were 3 2-out RBIs yesterday.
Well, those 2 guys we talk about so much at the top, when they're going well, the Rockies put up big numbers.
I think that's part of the reason why this road trip, what the Rockies did. As you mentioned, Charlie, 3 hits. DJ on the road trip hit .310. He was 9 for 29. It just helps Nolan, Cargo, Trevor, everybody else when those 2 are doing their things, like the daily double.
Well, there's going to be more guys for Arenado, Story, Cargo to drive in naturally. 1-1 on Trevor. Story on Sunday hit his 26th home run of the year. To give you some context, the most home runs ever by Rocky shortstop, not surprisingly, Tulo. Troy in 2009, a playoff year, hit 32. That's going down this year.
Oh, yeah.
You would think. 2-1. And this ball lined to right, but Reyes is right there. That'll end the inning, but a productive inning with 2 outs. The Rockies got it going with a Blackman triple. It's 3-2 now. Link high-speed poll of the night. What's your favorite part of Cargo's game? We're celebrating Carlos Gonzalez tonight, number 6 on our top 25 Rockies of all time. His smile, you'd always go there. The sweet swing, the Superman catches, or one of the great arms in Major League Baseball. There are no bad choices. I'm going to go with that sweet swing. How many times have you and I stood there and watched Cargo take batting practice, and though we've seen it literally tens of thousands of times, at least tens of thousands of swings, and we still will look at each other during the season on a number of occasions and say it's amazing.
Our jaws are hitting the ground as we're watching it. I don't know. I'm going to go E. It's not on there. All of the above.
All the above, yeah. And you know what? One of the great reasons he's so popular, though, is his smile. Tell you a little story about Cargo. 1-1 count on Austin Hedges. We were talking about some of his memorabilia from playing. I mean, if you've had his career, there's a lot of personal memorabilia. You can collect stuff from other guys. I know you did that throughout your 12 years in the big leagues. And Cargo said, you know, my mom has all my stuff. We were talking about the baseball in which he hit the cycle against the Cubs several years back. And I said, where is that? He said, you know, my mom must have it. He goes, she keeps all my stuff. He said, if you walk in my house, and he lives in the Orlando area, he said, you'd have no idea what I do for a living. He said, all the pictures on the walls are of the kids. And he goes, I don't want it to be a shrine to me. And that's who he is.
That's him. And just saying, here, you know, Mom, you got this. Go ahead.
And she's allowed to be a proud mom, right? That works.
Golly, why not?
She ought to be. 1-2. I'd love to see Tyler build on that third inning, a 7-pitch 1-2-3 third after some issues in the first and second. 2 in the first, 1 in the second.
Well, even
for the Padres.
Even that second inning when he gave up, you know, a run, there was 5 batters, only 9 pitches.
That's a good pitch. That's the Tyler Anderson you're used to seeing. Looks like a strike and it kind of fades away. That changeup. That's the second strikeout for Tyler. That'll bring up Franmil Reyes as we go to center field once again. Check in with Taylor.
So you guys were talking about the favorite aspects of Carlos Gonzalez. Well, Danny Stark saying hard to choose, but have to go with that smile. Certainly is one of the favorite aspects of Carlos Gonzalez. But I got to agree with you guys. I mean, that swing, I could watch it over and over and over, just a smooth one motion. I mean, it's beautiful, guys.
It is. It really is pretty, and of course, he has some of the most effortless power you will ever see.
You can see why he kind of modeled his swing after Ken Griffey Jr. because they're very, very similar. That it's as gorgeous as it gets.
Both with a great deal of rotational flexibility.
Like one of those golfers that can just hit it a mile, and just because they get the big turn, they can do it all. But it doesn't look like they're so twisted up that, you know, they can't ever get back to the hitting point.
This ball's pretty well hit left center field. David Dahl cannot catch up. It's going to take one hop and bounce off the wall. And Reyes, who was 0 for 26 coming in, wouldn't you know it, is 2 for 2 tonight. A 1-out double.
At the little blooper to right, and sometimes that unlocks your swing, and then this time he gets the changeup and reaches for it, but just shows you how big and strong Reyes is. Rocky saw him when he was first called up because he was tearing up the minor leagues. I mean, hitting home run after home run. They finally said, well, we got to get him up here, see what he can do.
They got another young player that everybody likes a lot, but he just can't stay healthy. He's hurt right now. It's Franchi Cordero. This is popped up by Margot. DJ will get called off late by Charlie. 2 outs, and that's a big out right there, because now all Anderson has to do is get Robbie Erlin, the pitcher, and he'll work out of this little situation.
That was textbook fly ball communication. Infielder going back, saying I've got it, until the outfielder calls you off.
Erlin a sac bunt his first time up. Cutter on the inside corner for a strike. Good pitch, 0-2.
Starting to get a little bit better feel of the changeup as Tyler.
Here's the 0-2, and he got it. Good job by Anderson. Gave up the 1-out double to Reyes. Not an issue after that. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. The Rockies will try to take the lead. They're down a run.
Cargo acquired by the Rockies in a deal with Oakland Athletics. It was in between 08 and 09, and Cargo remembers coming to Denver. It was snowing, but the thing he remembers most is just after he was traded for Matt Holliday, getting handed the number 5 jersey that he would wear for the Colorado Rockies.
Getting that jersey number 5 after Matt Holliday, that was a lot of pressure. Yeah. I remember telling Dan O'Dowd, who used to be our GM, I was like, is there any way I can change my number? I don't want to have that big responsibility because, Matt Holliday, a few months ago or a year ago, before that, he was playing in the World Series for this organization, and he pretty much carried the entire team and the entire city. So, a special player, and then just to get the opportunity to play same spot he was playing in left field, wearing his number, it was, I was a little nervous at the beginning, but everything else, worked out at the end.
Certainly worked out. Now, that question was proposed by Corey Sullivan, asking, hey, if Matt Holliday gets brought.
Hold on, this one's heading in your direction, perhaps, but not going to travel enough. Boy, that is really a strong indication, Taylor. I'll let you finish the story, that ball's not going anywhere tonight. I thought he got that.
Yeah, I certainly thought it did too. I was saying, okay, him and Matt Holliday, number 5, it must be a sign. Hit one out. Do like they do. But to continue the story, Corey had asked him, if Holliday gets brought back up, who wears number 5? And that's what Cargo was saying. I have a lot of admiration for Matt Holliday. He didn't say what he thought, but he had a lot of admiration.
All right, Taylor, thanks very much. Yeah, I don't think when, assuming Matt comes up, I don't think Matt's going to get number 5 this time around, and it's kind of ironic. So now, we talked off the top, Huey, and you were a terrific infielder, that Will Myers is getting a feel for playing third, error earlier in the ballgame. Christian Villanueva, just his 2nd start ever at second base. He's normally a third baseman. Ball finds him. He hurt his thumb on that error, and now you have 2 errors on what should be pretty routine plays. I know that ball was hit hard, but it was a long hop.
It doesn't matter what position you play, though, Drew. You can't try to field a ball like that with your glove on top. You turn the glove over and you square up on it, but it's coming from a different angle, at your point. So it will be his 13th error of the season for Christian.
And he's going to get another chance. And look at that. He comes up with it, and it turns into a 4-6-3 double play. That may have been a tougher play. So the Rockies done in their half of the 4th. We'll go to the 5th inning. San Diego by a run. And that was with a guy reaching on an error. 3-2 Padres in front. Hey, you can bid on game-worn autographed Mariachis de Nuevo Mexico jerseys from top prospects Brendan Rodgers, Peter Lambert, Garrett Hampson, who's up right now at the Rockies, and Rockies legend Matt Holliday. Go to milbauctions.com/gallery.cfm. And Tonight, Matt Holliday's driven in another run. He's got 14 ribbies in 15 games with the Isotopes. Good stuff. And we heard over the weekend Buddy saying, I think it's Sunday, that Matt is not only looking terrific, the results are there, but he's moving around great. He's bouncing back the next day. And you remember when you played into your late 30s.
Yeah, 38.
How sore are you the next day?
Pretty sore.
But evidently Matt, who's always taken just phenomenal care of himself, feels good.
Well, I think the other thing too for Matt, he's over that 50 at bat threshold. And that's kind of the benchmark for what you want during spring training. And so I think now for Matt being able to bounce back, as you said, and he's also has the 50 at bats, it kind of tells you that he has that feeling that he could go out there every single day and do it.
Yeah.
And just looking at his numbers too lately.
Well, one of the other things I look at, there are so many teams that the composition of their bench are young players. And if a Matt Holliday, just like when Jason Giambi was here and it was late in the game and it was a one-run game, maybe it was a tie game, when that other manager looks across the way and you see a guy of that stature, it makes you pause a little bit. And it's not to say that the 23-year-old good-looking young player can't come through. I mean, we've seen Ryan McMahon come through a bunch lately, David Dahl, etc. But when you see a guy that truly has some gray in his beard and the back of the baseball card, a guy like Giambi had, and a guy now like Matt Holliday, who's getting close, has it can be a difference maker.
Because as the closer you get to October, the tighter the games become in September. And for somebody that has a history, they have the resume, that have been in a lot of different situations.
I look to pick up on your point, Huey. I love what Cargo said after the ball game on Sunday. Rockies' joyous clubhouse, 4-game sweep of Atlanta. Here's the 2-2 on Myers. That cuts inside. And Cargo said, hey, it's been a great run, talking about the 46 against top flight opponents. He said, it was like a playoff atmosphere. He said, but guess what? The rest of the way to get where we want to be and win the division, every game is going to be like that.
I think that's what serves you well, being in those tight games all the time.
Yep.
Then you don't have the fear. You can win the one-run games like the Rockies have done. They're 21-12 in one-run games.
So one-out base hit for Myers, and here comes Eric Hosmer. Hosmer, a 2-run home run, and then got called out on a changeup on the outside corner. Got to watch Myers. He has the ability to run.
Been caught yet this year. 8 for 8.
And that slice to left, a base hit. Got a question for you, Huey, that you don't normally pose. He's thrown 18 out of 21 first pitch strikes. He hasn't thrown many balls. Is he throwing too many strikes right now?
Well, as I mentioned in the second inning for Tyler Anderson, 5 guys came to the plate, and it only took 9 pitches. So yeah, to your point, he's throwing 47 pitches, only 9 balls tonight.
Well, actually 56 pitches, 47 strikes, only 9 out of the zone.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. 47 strikes, 56 total pitches.
Renfroe, and again, that's center cut.
And this is where too you can flip a few more curveballs first pitch over.
Renfroe, a ground ball to third and a pop out to Nolan as well. 2 on and 1 out. And that's costly. It goes off the glove of Iannetta. It'll be a pass ball. And now the double play is no longer in order.
Well, now Chris is going to go out there this catch him right. No, on the heel on the Subaru Supermo. Was not expecting that pitch there. He thought it was going to go down and away. And now they'll get back out on the same page. For Renfroe, 18 RBIs here in the month of August. That leads the National League. But he does have holes in his swing. He really goes soft. Change-ups down and away from him, make him reach for it. Because he's trying to pull the ball.
Gonna get a pop-up here. That'll work. Anderson came over. But Nolan saying you're not allowed to field, don't you remember?
Especially when you got platinum like I do. And looking to come out to a ball game, there's always great Rockies ticket deals available. You can bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back throughout the season.
2 outs. And Anderson will try to get Christian Villanueva to keep San Diego off the board here in the 5th. Padres up 3-2. Good looking pitch, just missed.
They're real close on the Subaru strike zone. Probably should have been called a strike.
One and one.
That's where you need to live, down at that Subaru strike zone. Down at the knees.
20 home runs for Villanueva, tied for the most among any rookie in baseball, along with Miguel Andujar of the Yankees. Good spot. Just missed though. 2 and 1.
Dialed up a couple miles an hour more on that fastball, 94.
I've seen Tyler do that. I think each outing he'll throw 3 or 4 pitches in that 94-95 range.
Now you have him set up for a 82 changeup.
That's what you got right there,
Oh,
all
sorry,
over. Just say you messed it up
I
though.
did.
It was 83.
Sorry, my bad.
Come on, man. Get with it.
I was just channeling 82. I didn't see the 83 coming.
What do you like here?
Well, they're going to check on Chris first. I like the changeup again, or maybe that cut fastball. But if you're going to throw the cutter, get it down.
Got to get it down
You
and in.
have to get it down and in, especially to this guy.
Yeah, this guy's got big time pull power.
Ow, right off the wrist. I'm going to throw a couple baseballs. See how it feels. It doesn't feel good, but he's going to stay in. I'm good. I'm a catcher. I'm tough.
They should check the baseball. Chris
the baseball
Iannetta,
has a dent in it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Chris Iannetta is one of the thickest guys you'll see. His back is like a block wide. Got to make a pitch here if you're Anderson. 2-2 with 2 in scoring position. 2 outs. He did. Down and in with the cutter. Good pitching by Tyler Anderson. We'll go to the bottom half of inning number 5. It's still a 1-run game. Great pitch by Tyler. Coors Banquet Timeless Moment. How about this? This is a ball game I'll never forget. July 31st, 2010. Having a night against the Cubs. But you got to the bottom of the ninth inning. Cargo had a single, double, and triple, but the game was tied. First pitch from Marshall. He hit it halfway to Lyman. Upper deck, walk off, ball game over, cycle complete.
And what I like about that too, that ball landed into the lap of a Cubs fan after it went off of Rockies, and the look on their face was like, oh, that just happened. That was priceless.
Yeah. Let me tell you what may have been lost about the lead up to that game by Cargo. Iannetta drives his ball deep left, way back. No Cub fans out there, just Rockies fans, and we have a tie ball game. Chris Iannetta with his 9th of the year.
I'm so glad he was able to stay in the game after that ball fouled off his wrist.
Yeah, I guess the wrist is okay.
Because he just punished that baseball. He said, the ball punished my arm, I punished that baseball. That was belt high, inner third, and then hit from here to Flip Collins. I was just afraid it was going to bring more rain again.
That thing was crushed. 0-1 on Anderson.
Mercy. He got everything behind that one, and he knew it.
1-1 on Anderson. 436 feet off the bat of Chris Iannetta. So to finish the story on Cargo and that cycle he had, finishing against Sean Marshall, it was a game that Tom Gorzolani started. And Anderson has got 1 out. The night before, he went into Jim Tracy's office. He was sick as a dog. He had a fever, about 102 fever, and it was about 3 in the afternoon. And he said, "Trace, I don't know if I can go tonight. I'm sick as a dog." And he said, "All right, just go lie down somewhere." He goes, "I really need you tonight. We're going against Dempster, and I'll give you tomorrow off." He said, "But if there's any way that you can post up tonight." So at 6 o'clock, there's a bunt that goes foul by Charlie. At 6 o'clock, he was feeling a little bit better, and Trace wrote his name in the lineup. He went out and he went 4 for 6. He was a triple shy of the cycle. This is the night before, right? Okay. Triple shy. So he said, "Boy, I'm swinging it so well." He had also homered, oh, by the way, in the 2 previous games. So, I mean, he was locked in. Like, you remember how Cargo would get locked in. So the next day, there was supposed to be an off day because he's not feeling well. Performing great, but not feeling well. Against Tom Gorzolani, he told Trace, he goes, "I got to play." So he's in the lineup, and then he produces the cycle.
What was it? We just had a graphic a moment ago. We'll throw it up again, but there's only been 6 or 7 guys to ever do that. 6 guys to ever hit a walk-off home run to complete a cycle all time in Major League history.
There's some big names on that list. How about George Brett? Cesar Tovar was quite a player. Ken Boyer, great player. Dwight Dewey Evans, great Red Sox. That's a good list right there. 2 Rockies on it. And Charlie makes a late decision. So he has a strikeout, and DJ will come up with 2 outs. Let's go to center field again and see what Taylor McGregor's up to. Hey, Taylor.
Well, we continue talking about Carlos Gonzalez, and we can't reiterate enough just how important he is in this clubhouse, but he's also really important to a lot of people in the community. Look at Colorado Girls saying, "Mike Jacob with Cargo, he's an amazing person and a great role model for my kiddo." That was 3 years ago. Couldn't agree more. Certainly a huge role model for kids around the Denver metro area and for kids right in the Rockies clubhouse, if we can call them that. Kids, guys.
He's been good with the kids the Rockies have brought up over the last 5, 6, 7 years. How many times did we show 2 years ago, for instance, our great crew in the truck would, I mean, it was a nightly shot of Cargo with his arm around Trevor Story, his arm around David Dahl. This is fouled off. I mean, Story in particular, I mean, there were so many camera shots of him sitting next to him in the dugout, counseling him, giving him confidence.
Well, remember when he came up and there was still some question, oh, maybe he needs to go back down to AAA. And Trey said, nope, I'm sticking with him. He's my guy. So he knows what those kids were going through.
Absolutely does. The Rockies get even against Robbie Erlin in the 5th. Chris Iannetta launches a bomb to left. It's 3-3 going to inning number 6 on a Tuesday at Coors Field. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Well, the Rockies spotted the Padres 3 runs in the first couple of innings. Tyler Anderson has settled in, and the Rockies offense has gotten even. Chris Iannetta with a home run a few minutes ago. So we go to the top of the 6th inning, and Anderson will face Hedges, Reyes, and Margot. 6, 7, and 8 in San Diego's lineup. Fly ball to left and a strikeout tonight for Austin Hedges. Really good backstop for the Padres. Padres are excited about their future. They have one of the deepest farm systems in baseball. They're not going to be able to bring up a guy that I know they were looking forward to in September, potentially, Fernando Tatis Jr., their shortstop of the future. He's still 19.
Played with his dad.
I was going to say,
yeah.
I thought you did. And he has a thumb injury, so that's going to preclude him from playing again in 2018.
Didn't his dad hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning?
1 inning. That's a good inning. And what was interesting about that, Dougie just reminded me, it was off the same guy.
No.
Now, how do you hang it? You give up a grand slam, 9 hitters later, the bases are loaded again, you're still out there.
You're still in the game.
That's usually when Descalso's back in there. Uh-oh, this ball's well hit to left. And Hedges has hit it out, and the Padres go on top 4-3. Number 10 for Austin Hedges.
For the Padres, that is 118 home runs they've hit as a club.
There's also 26 home runs now allowed by Anderson, which is...
That is tied for the most in the National League with Chase Anderson. Zach Greinke has 23. Julio Teheran also has 23.
Franmil Reyes is 2 for 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's that list of guys that have given up a lot of home runs. It'll be interesting to hear what Tyler has to say after the ball game and what Buddy has to say. He's got such a keen eye, as we all know, for pitching. About Tyler and the number of strikes he's thrown tonight. Usually they're more chase pitches.
But I think probably what he'll say is, yeah, there was a lot of strikes, but there weren't as many quality strikes.
And again, it's weird.
And there's a big difference.
Sure, and it's weird to say, why are you complaining? The guy's throwing strikes. Don't you want that?
But more on the corner strikes.
Right. 2-2 on Reyes. And he beat him with a fastball up and in.
Yeah, first strikeout by the fastball tonight for Tyler.
5th strikeout overall. 1 out. Margot will come up.
Well, the first 15,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, August 25th, receive a lunch cooler bag courtesy of King Soopers. Get your tickets to see the Rockies take on the St. Louis Cardinals at any Rockies ticket outlet. Cardinals still in L.A.
You see last night, folks, I don't know if you caught this, but the Dodgers were tied with the Cardinals at 3. Kenley Jansen just came off the disabled list, and that's good news. You don't root for injuries. You certainly, when it comes to a guy who's battling a serious deal with an irregular heartbeat, something he dealt with in 2011, 2012, and he may have to have a procedure in the off season, but he comes back, and Dave Roberts naturally inserts his, one of the premier closers in the game in a 3-3 game at home in the 9th inning, and he gives up back-to-back solo home runs. Jerko hit one, and then Matt Carpenter, of course, hit one, because Matt Carpenter's
34th.
Yeah, he hits one every night, it seems like, and the Cardinals ended up winning 5-3. So bullpen issues for the Dodgers. 2-2 on Margot, didn't fire. 3-2.
I'm sure they were thinking, well, we got Kenley back, everything's going to be okay now. They still might be, but they've had a lot of problems.
They've allowed, I think they've relinquished the lead or something like that in 7 straight games with their bullpen. 3-2 on Margot. 1 for 2 tonight. And he strikes him out off speed. We should let you know that one of the areas where the Padres are pretty sound is down in their bullpen. They have some young arms and some big arms down there, and one of them is warming up right now, Robert Stock.
Well, it's different than what we saw earlier, because they got young arms, 95, 98, 100 miles an hour. They didn't have that earlier in the season.
Yeah, they've basically flipped over their whole bullpen, save a couple of guys. One and one on Erlin. Change of fades. 2-1. Two outs. Here's the 2-2. Four, 3 San Diego. Chris Iannetta just tied it up, and Austin Hedges just put the Padres back out in front here in the top of the 6th.
Strike 3. Nope, down on the Subaru strike zone.
Here's the payoff pitch, and that's fouled straight back. Erlin doesn't have a bad swing.
No. the year. He's 3 for 12. Check that, 3 for 13 after that strikeout in the fourth.
And he strikes out here on a fastball up and away. Home run by Hedges. Padres out in front. Then 3 strikeouts by Anderson.
That score. Now, we talked about how Cargo has a big impact on a lot of the guys in the clubhouse, and Nolan Arenado is one of those. In fact, today he spoke with me about the things Cargo has taught him.
He taught me how to relax, you know, not swing as much, those little things like that. He's like, you're wearing yourself out. You know, he really taught me that in 15 when I had my best years, that, you know, you hit too much and you really need to, you know, take a step back. You know, I think you'll save more energy and be ready for the game. Because, you know, I would hit all the time, you know, cage work, BP, and then after BP, and then before the game, and then after game sometimes, you know, I would overdo it. And he taught me how to not overdo it, and you'll be a better player, and it's helped me out.
Another thing that he said Cargo taught him is to just appreciate where you at. Never take a day for granted of being in the big leagues. And he also went on to say, I just flat out love him. And that's something that's echoed throughout the entire clubhouse, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll follow up with something on Cargo and his advice to Nolan. Robert Stock is the new pitcher. This kid's a flamethrower. He's touched 100. He averages 98 with his fastball. He's missed with 2 heaters. He did get a slider over initially to Nolan, so it's 2-1. Rockies down a run, bottom of the 6th. And then he got another slider, 2-2.
Yeah, that's the difference too for Stock since he's come back. It's the slider, because you thought he could just throw everything by a big league hitter before with that powerful fastball. And that's just like a lot of young guys. You realize, well, that's not going to work here.
And this is in the air to right field. It's an easy play out there for Reyes. 1 out. Excuse me, that's Jankowski now in right field. Travis Jankowski. 1 gone, and that'll bring up Trevor Story. So Cargo was telling me the other day about that advice that he gave Nolan, that, you know, I love your work ethic, but you gotta pace yourself a little bit. And Cargo, with a beautiful laugh, he goes, so now instead of taking 300 swings before the game, he takes 250.
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
That's about right. First pitch strike as Story takes a look at first offering from Stock.
Stock is a 28-year-old rookie. 7 minor league seasons. He had 276 minor league games.
But nobody on the Rockies at the big league level has ever seen him. And I think if you're Andy Green, he's thrilled that he got 5 innings out of Robbie Erlin.
5 hits, just 3 runs.
And his club's ahead. And now he can hand it off to what has been the strength of his club this year, the bullpen, with the 7th lowest ERA in Major League Baseball. 1-2.
Yeah, Arizona's still leading that category with the 3.08 bullpen ERA.
Well, you know, if you're in the NL West, you're going to see good pitching. 1-2. And this ball line to left's got to get down. Stayed in the air too long. Hunter Renfroe makes the grab. 2 outs after that line out. Here comes Cargo. Fly ball to left and fly ball to center. The fly ball to center, he must have gotten it just a little bit up toward the end of the bat, because initially I thought he caught it. On the swing, 0-1. This Padres
I still
bullpen.
don't like that rule, though. I don't care who it's against. Check with either the first or third base umpire. Nothing will aggravate a hitter more than saying, you can see if I check. There was a check swing as that ball's coming in. I don't. Just ask. Go ahead and ask Ed Hickox, third base. Sorry, I digress for a second. That just bothered me. That took me back to my hitting days.
I understand. 2 strikes on Cargo. One and 2.
Jerry Meals at first, Nick Lentz at second. I mentioned Ed Hickox at third. Dave Morales behind the plate.
2-2. Rockies have won 8 out of 9 off that 5-1 road trip through Houston and Atlanta. Popped up, playable on the left side. Myers makes the catch. Rockies go in order. So we'll go to the 7th. 4-3 Padres at Coors Field. Brought to you by Cricket Wireless. And a lot of the kiddos back in school Tuesday night here in the 3rd week of August. 27,862 in the house.
lot of kids starting college too today. I know you sent your Zach off. He'll start
a couple days from
now. We'll see you started.
You get another one in grad school right now. PT.
Oh, yeah, it's always a hard time for parents. I mean, it's a happy time, but a hard time.
Yeah, today was a weird one when Chris and Zach got in the car and headed off. Going to catch up with those guys on Thursday. Here's the 1-0 to Galvis, 1-1.
That's what we train them for.
That's right. So they go about it on their own.
That's right.
Galvis represents the top of the order, and he was way out in front, so much so he lost the bat. Another reason that netting's been huge this year.
Well, if not, this is going to go into the first row. Gets out in front on the changeup on the Subaru Supermo. Let's go, but Andy Green's got a duck. As it goes over the head of everybody.
I thought he'd do that.
Yeah, backdoor cutter.
Man, that you talk about carving. What a pitch.
That was a carve right there.
That's 4 straight strikeouts, 8 strikeouts on the evening for Anderson.
The first one was on a fastball, the last 4, then a changeup, fastball, and a cutter. That's how he's done it on the last 4 guys. Velocities 93, 84, 93, 88.
And now the 2 most dangerous hitters in that Padre lineup, back-to-back, Will Myers, Eric Hosmer. Myers 1 for 3, and behind him Hosmer is 2 for 3, including a 2-run homer. And this is a soft single to right. Do you know the Rockies last 46 games, we were talking about 30 and 16. Actually, if you take the last 34, or 44, I should say, they're 30 and 14. It's one of the 3 best stretches of baseball in their history over that period of time. One notable stretch, that's pretty close. One notable stretch I recall was shortly after Jim Tracy took over in 2009. They had a 32-12 stretch. Completely, obviously, turned their season around. Ended up winning a franchise best 92 that year. Back in '97, they went on a 30-14 stretch. Swung on and missed. So again, the last month and a half, the Rockies have put together one of the 3 best stretches in club history, and when you couple that with who they did it against, really impressive.
Well, the last 15 series, they've won 9 of them, tied 4, only lost 2 of those series. I mean, the only other club that went through a stretch like they've done in this 46 games, got to go back to the 1908 Boston Red Sox, who finished 500 that year in a stretch like this with teams above 500. They were 25 and 25. Everybody else is below.
That's a good pitch. I like the last line of that graphic. The Rockies against the 2 World Series participants of a year ago, the Dodgers and the Astros, 7 and 4. Steve Foster, Buddy Black conversing. Tyler Anderson allowed 4 runs on 10 hits. He's ahead of Hosmer here, 1 and 2. And where is that?
It's the bottom of the Subaru strike zone, but call the ball.
Yeah, I think Gabe Morales would like that one back. That's as good a pitch as you could make. Myers, big jump, and a ground ball to third. Retreating's Nolan. He's got one play, and that's first. Low throw. And Desmond will go and pick up the baseball and move it to third is Myers. Remember, we were talking to Nolan. He said, I got in a bad habit of not moving my feet and staying stationary sometimes. He was stationary on this throw.
Yeah, because he was worried about Will Myers coming over to third, so he started to run over to third instead of just firing a strike overhand, get it there, and then worry about Desi getting it back to him. But watch how he starts to run towards third, realizing he's not going, and then this is a tough pick for Desi. I mean, it's an in-between hop, and now it'll go down as an error. That is the 10th error this year for Nolan.
Yeah, actually, let me correct that. He did move his feet, but he moved it away from his target. It was a little different looking, and now the Rockies will make a pitching change, down a run. With one out, there's runners at first and third. Scott Oberg will try to keep the Padres at 4 runs. He'll face Hunter Renfroe here, who's got some strikeout in his game, and then Christian Villanueva potentially. The runner at first is Hosmer. He reached on the error by Nolan. And a swing and a miss on a slider. At third base is Will Myers.
I think this is a good matchup for Scott with his slider and Renfroe with the open stance. You throw him 3 sliders, gonna start him on the plate, work him off, and you've got him right where you want him. That one backed up. Scott reinstated from the paternity list in the Atlanta series, pitched 1 inning, gave up a hit, but the rest was clean.
This is
great job.
Result in no advancement by Myers. Most importantly, you're watching him the whole way. Oberg took a look over his shoulder to make sure he wouldn't try to come down the line. He got the second out.
3 sliders as I predicted. He goes back. It just barely gets it out in front of home. Chris was directing traffic. Had Scott look over his shoulder and then made the play. Chris is telling him just take a peek at third. Nobody coming. Go ahead and get the out. He's pointing, doing everything he can. I think he pitched now, Christian, the same way that you just pitched Hunter Renfroe.
And went after him with the fastball at 96. It's 0-1. Anderson hung tough tonight. Gave up 3 runs in the first 2 innings. He got stronger as the evening went on. Piled up 8 strikeouts. And a good slider. And really an unhittable place. So now Scott has Villanueva in an 0-2 pothole. Make him chase.
Yes, indeed.
Good block by Ionetta. That's a good pitch.
That's a great pitch. Last thing you want to do is hang a slider. Hitter's still on the defensive right now.
This is where catching is so tough. You cannot lose focus for even one pitch, and your focus has to be as acute as possible when you have a runner at third naturally. And Chris, if he calls for that slider again, he knows he's got to block it. Here's the 1-2. Blocked it again. 2-2. What is that fine line, Huey? I'm sure you remember when you were a hitter of seeing the ball out of the hand. Is it a strike, or do you dismiss it right away as a ball? And
well, that's what makes a slider so hard to hit, is because you can't pick up the spin. I know everybody talks about the red dot and look for that, but it's all coming at a blur. So to actually say, well, yeah, I picked up that slider. No, you didn't. It's the sliders that hang, the ones that just look like a fastball, and your barrel catches up to it.
I also think, and tell me if you would agree with this, some of the elite hitters of all time, and I know Todd fell in this category, their vision was like 2010, where they could pick up the baseball, and spin maybe a foot, 2 feet sooner than most players.
And think about how razor thin that margin is, but that's why they're the elite hitters.
2-2. Ground ball foul. Got all slider. Once he got ahead, 2 strikes. This game's been played at a pretty rapid pace. We're in the 7th inning already. 4-3 Padres. 2 night games and then a day game Thursday. .98 on that heater.
But look where he covered that on the Subaru strike zone.
Tell you what, that pitch up and in will be hard to hit, right?
It is. But it's that old theory. If he's going to beat me, he's going to have to try to beat me going away. It's hard for a pitcher to say, I want to come in right now.
Villanueva hanging tough. Isn't it amazing? You see some guys and you go, man, this guy's is a terrific looking hitter. And when he's faced the Rockies, he has been unbelievable. 6 home runs this year, an average in the mid-300s. And then he rolls back in town. We haven't seen him in 3 months. He has 20 home runs. Really impressive, especially for a kid. But his average is 236. And you're saying, man, well, what's the deal? Every time he faces the Rockies, he looks like Manny Ramirez. And this is on the ground to DJ. Good job by Scott Oberg. Really good job. Inherited a 1st and 3rd situation. Got 2 key outs. Keeps it a 1-run game. performance. Two left-handers, Robbie Erlin, Tyler Anderson. Erlin goes 5 innings, allows 3 runs on 5 hits. 6 strikeouts, no walks. Tyler Anderson pitched 4 outs longer, gave up 10 hits, 4 runs. He too did not walk a batter, he struck out 8. So here we go in the 7th, and it's still Robert Stock out there. And his first pitch is in there for a strike on Ian Desmond. He had a 1-2-3 6th inning.
Well, he's thrown 2 or more innings in 7 out of his 10 appearances.
Turns his back a little bit.
Kind of herky-jerky, too.
And pitching vernacular, he shows you his wallet. The idea being your wallet would be in your back pocket. Right?
Doesn't matter if it's the right pocket or the left pocket, he's going to show it to you.
You've often said it, Spilly's often said it. There's so many guys down in the minor leagues with big arms, and may not have enough command to get to the big leagues. And this kid's probably an example of that. You say he's a 28-year-old rookie. He obviously has a big arm.
But could he ever harness it? I think that's what we always talk about young pitchers. Is he going to be able to do it? He was a 2nd-round pick in 2009 by St. Louis. USC guy, Southern Cal.
This is a bouncer to 3rd. Myers will throw out Desmond. Back to center field, Taylor McGregor.
Hey, thanks, guys. It was a fun night celebrating Carlos Gonzalez. Thank you to everyone who sent in tweets. Fun reading those. We got to flash forward to next week. Number 5 on our list is the great Troy Tulowitzki. Tulo, a shortstop with the Rocks in 2006 to 2015. He was a joy to watch at the plate as well. 299 average, 188 home runs, 657 RBIs, and a career record 985 fielding percentage as a shortstop with the Rocks. So fun to watch him. Can't wait to celebrate him. We will get to that next week. So guys, back to you for now.
All right, Taylor, thanks very much. We have a pitching change. We'll tell you about that when we come back. The Padres leading the Rockies 4-3, 1 out for Colorado in the 7th.
Coors Field on Friday, September 7th. Purchase the 90s ticket package to receive a limited edition Catch the Fever shirt and get to the game early to enjoy a pregame 90s DJ on the rooftop.
David Dahl fouls off the first offering from Jose Castillo, one of 2 lefties in the bullpen for the Padres. And he's been very effective in the 22 games he's thrown so far. A strikeout per inning pitched and a very light 173 batting average against. David tonight has grounded to second and hit a smash to second that was turned into a 4-6-3 double play. The Rockies have only 5 hits. They were down 3-0, got a couple of runs in the 3rd, only Nolan Arenado, a RBI double. DJ had a hit to drive in a run in the inning as well. And then Chris Iannetta, who's on deck, he had a long home run in the 5th, leading off to tie it at 3.
They only left 2 guys on base. That was in the 1st and the 3rd.
And Dahl strikes out. So here comes Iannetta again. Time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Robbie Early delivered one belt high, and Chris Iannetta pounded it 436 feet. That would work well again here.
Why not? Go ahead, Chris. No objection to that.
Rockies have a 4-man bench, which is pretty typical during the season for Colorado the last few years, and a lot of teams adding the extra pitcher, going away from what used to be a staple, a 5-man bench. Ryan McMahon's on deck, but he's not going to get the hit because this is an easy play in right for Jankowski. So the Rockies have seen 9 straight retired. They're down a run as we go to the 8th. Arcuni Lexus look back. There's been some home runs tonight. Eric Hosmer in the 1st inning, a 2-run shot straight away. Chris Iannetta with the home run we were just talking about to tie the game momentarily at 3. And the reason that the Padres are out in front is home run by Austin Hedges in the 6th. That's where we stand 4-3. Top of inning number 8, Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Taylor McGregor. And it'll be Hedges, Jankowski, and Margot. And on the mound for the Rockies, a guy who's been really good since they picked him up from Toronto, Song-Hwan Oh.
Yeah, 6 of the 10 appearances for O with the Rockies have been hitless. 9 out of the 10 scoreless.
And the first pitch misses. Last 31 games for O, including this last 21 with Toronto. There's a strike. He was scored upon, or has been scored upon, only 3 times. One, good pitch. He really gives righties in particular fits.
Gives the little hesitation. Really hard to pick up.
strikeout. Ionetta will clear himself, get the out at first base. So Hedges is retired.
Talk about trying to pick somebody up. We'll try to pick this slider up. Hedges can on the Subaru Supermo. Chris blocks it with his wrist.
Righty's hitting 164 against Sung Won. Lefty's just a notch over 300. There's a curveball on the lap of Jankowski for a strike. First AB for Travis Jankowski. Came in a couple of innings ago defensively for Franmil Reyes. 0-2. Jankowski, a former high pick out of Stony Brook University on Long Island.
Part of that team that went to the College World Series.
Yeah, so one of those surprise teams.
I love that when you get that surprise team.
Oh yeah,
that's great. Good for baseball,
outside,
good for the fans.
How excited Spilly was a couple years ago when UCSB was in the College World Series.
That's right. That's all we could hear about for 2 weeks.
Spilly ran up there for a game. He went AWOL.
He went off the grid.
Exactly. That's a great pitch. A strikeout of Jankowski. 2 outs.
Sunday, September 9th is Dia de los Rockies. The first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a Los Rockies jersey and come by early for a pregame concert on the rooftop featuring Izcalli.
Sounds like a great deal. 2 outs. Manuel Margot 1 for 3 tonight. Breaking balls in the dirt. 1-0. The Rockies will have a pinch hitter to lead things off in the 8th inning. They're going to face Craig Stammen. Could very well be a Garrett Hampson, who's a leadoff type guy. The Rockies also have Parra, McMahon, and Walters on their bench tonight. And then it'll be Blackman, DJ. Beyond that, Nolan and Trevor. Put that old 11.5-inch shortstop glove on again, partner. It's nice to work behind. Oh, he's a guy that gets the baseball and fires it.
So much fun because you stay engaged as a fielder, whether you're an infielder or an outfielder. You don't have time to daydream.
1-2.
There's one thing I can teach young pitchers: get the ball, let's go, make something happen.
2 balls, 2 strikes. On the ground, through the left side. A base hit for Manuel.
Bring out the pitch hitter, Corey Spangenberg. Now with Spangenberg coming, it clears the pitcher for the Padres, so they got to go to their bullpen. Now you go back to the left side of your equation for your pinch hitters for the Rockies. You have McMahon and Parra to be able to go up against the righty that they have out there.
Yeah, or, you know, as I suggested, you know, not suggested, but as an option for Buddy, the leadoff type guy in a Garrett Hampson, who provides you with great speed if he were to get on.
That's what's fun. To debate who's going to be able to pinch hit. That's why Buddy's checking everything right now. I think I might take that guy that can, with one swing of the bat, hit it out. There's options.
Yeah,
that's a good thing now for Bud.
Well, that's why last inning, even though there was no one on at the time, Ionetta with 2 outs. If he reaches, it was going to be Ryan McMahon for that very reason. He's somebody who can drive a ball in a gap and tie up the game that way, or certainly drive the ball over the wall. Leading off the inning, you could certainly go in that direction as
then
you suggest, but you could also go, hey, listen, let's put a leadoff type guy up there in Hampson.
Because then you have the top of the order coming in.
Yep. So many things, you know, if Hampson reaches against a righty like Stammen, brings the stolen base into play. That's a good looking pitch, but not called to strike. 2-1.
Couple had been either at the top of the Subaru strike zone or down at the bottom. The other night for Gabe Morales that have been called balls.
Now a little upset, and he doesn't show up. Gabe Morales just wanted to know where it was, which is
okay.
Which is okay. I mean, he knows if it wasn't called a strike that Morales thought it was outside, but he is sending a message just by asking. 3-1 on Spangenberg, who can run. And did he go? No. So now you have 2 on all of a sudden. And Freddie Galvis coming up. A lot of borderline pitches. Galvis tonight, a double in the first and a run scored, a sac fly in the second. Since then, a fly ball to center, and he was caught looking.
Well, at least average wise, coming to the left side about 50 points lower hitting left-handed than he is right-handed.
Those are just 220 from this side. A little tardy on that fastball. It's 0-1. That was the first walk of this game, period, for either side. And this will get the job done to DJ. So keeps the Padres off the board. Now the Rockies got to get something going, down a run. No hidden fees, that's transparency. And by Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Lodo in Denver, and it'll be Gerardo Parra leading things off. So he'll be the pinch hitter against Craig Stabben out of the University of Dayton. He's a Dayton Flyer. We always have to make that mention when Doug is with us. Doug at Dayton Flyer. Stammen's been around. One of the veterans that's been there all year long. They've had a lot of turnover in that bullpen. So here we go, 8th inning. Rockies down a run. Parra's had so many big hits this year. Maybe none bigger than the game-tying hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning on Saturday.
Against the lefty.
Who's thrown about 98.
Second pitch, took the first one for a ball and then hit the second one to left.
That was A.J. Minter. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Padres on May 15th, their bullpen still featured Brad Hand closing. Adam Simber was down there. Robbie Erlin was in the bullpen at that time. Makita. You see the names, and now the only guys left are Stammen, Strom, and Kirby Yates. Kirby Yates is now handling the 9th inning. Brad Hand and Simber went to Cleveland. There's a base hit to begin the inning.
That was like a base hit the other day.
Partner, that wasn't it? It was about the same swing and the same trajectory off the bat. Just lined it to left.
The only difference is there was nobody in scoring position, but what a way to start this inning for the Rockies. Gerardo Park coming off the bench. A nice little single to left. Now he is 6 for 18 as a pinch hitter.
Lately, in the pinch, the Rockies have really gotten some great results. Obviously, Parr's last 2 in particular.
Man on the last homestand.
Yeah, here's Charlie. 1 for 3. He had a triple. And that's a base hit up the middle. Parr will stop at second. And the Rockies have 2 on, nobody out against Stammen.
The second base umpire, Nick Lentz, had to duck and dive out of this way of this line drive. I mean, this was right at him. Gerardo had to freeze because he didn't know what was going to happen. He gets down. Now it's 1st and 2nd. I think you got to trust right now. DJ's going to lay down a bunt and see what Will Myers can do at 3rd base.
Well, you want it going in that direction anyhow, and you're right. You got an inexperienced guy at 3rd in Myers. They're kind of experimenting with him over there. He already has made an error tonight. And this bunt is back to Stammen. So DJ didn't bunt it in the direction of 3rd base, but he got the job done as he generally does. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Tying run at 3rd, go-ahead run at Blackman at 2nd. And a pretty good guy come to the plate in Nolan Arenado.
Well, this is that's all you can ask for this inning. You got the guy you want, and you know what? Andy Green's going to say, forget it. I'm not facing him. You already have the winning run out there at 2nd base. Might as well put another one on, load him up.
Well, this goes back to something we always talk about. Both dugouts. Who do you not want to have beat you? You circle one guy. It's all about managers being able to sleep that night. And you know what? So you're going to pass on one MVP candidate in the National League, and you're going to deal with another one.
Trevor, 2 line drives tonight. 1 line drive to right field in the 3rd inning that was caught. A line drive in the 6th inning that was caught. And since June 28th, Trevor hitting .350 on the year.
Crowd coming alive here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Rockies trailing by a run in the 8th. At the knees for a strike.
Trevor 1 for 4 previously against Stammen.
And there's the crowd standing, looking for a Rockies late rally. Groans from the crowd. 0-2. Story will have to buckle down here. National League leader in total bases with 260. 3rd in extra base hits with 65. Parr the tying run. Blackman the go-ahead run. Nolan's the cherry on top of the ice cream if he can come around and score. And now Story will back out. 0-2.
Stammen's not afraid to throw his 92, 93 mile-an-hour fastball. About 66% of the time, he'll throw it to the righties. The rest of it is a slider.
He's pitched late games for a long time.
He also has a career 131 ERA at Coors. Time to make that thing go up.
Story ready. 1-2. Got him down and in. And now it'll come down to Cargo with the bases loaded and 2 outs against Stammen.
Well, the 2 that he swung at were the same spot, down and in, trying to open up the hips to get to it sooner was Trevor. And it just kept chasing underneath the hands. That was a classic under the hands pitch.
Cargo had a huge hit off the bench on Sunday with the Rockies up 3-2. A pinch single to drive in a run and give Wade Davis that extra cushion. Cargo has never had a hit against Stammen in 13 at-bats. Time to turn that around. Ground ball towards second, and he is now 0 for 14 against Stammen, who works out of a bases loaded 1-out situation. So we'll go to the 9th. It remains 4-3 San Diego.
The 9th inning, center field, Corey and Connor with you. This has been kind of a strange night, I feel like. It's just been jittery all over the place.
It has been jittery, but I also think the weather kind of set the tone. It just kind of seems humdrum, if you know what I mean. But I can't wait for the fireworks in the 9th inning, hopefully, and the Rockies can continue the trend.
Where'd she go?
There she is.
She's back. She's back.
They can continue the trend that they started out in Atlanta of this late inning heroics.
As we mentioned, going into the Atlanta series, after the 8th inning, they'd only won 3 times. Time for that late game heroics. For those, we go back upstairs to Drew and Huey.
Well, the Rockies had a great opportunity, fellas, in the 8th. Could not take advantage. They had the right part of the lineup up. And now it'll come down to Adam Ottavino, keeping it a 1-run game, making his 58th appearance. You know what kind of season it's been for Otto. And he'll face Will Myers, then Eric Hosmer and Hunter Renfroe, 2, 3, and 4 in the Padres lineup. And that bunt attempt goes foul by Myers.
Adam against the Braves in the last series had that wiffle ball slider going. This one against the shortstop Dansby Swanson. Just kind of had to laugh. And even Adam that night afterwards just saying it just didn't have the grip on it. Couldn't really feel it. But he could feel it the next day for sure.
Well, that was a huge strikeout because Swanson in the bottom of the 9th, the Rockies had tied it at 3. And when he came up with 2 outs, the winning run was 90 feet away. And Otto had made a commitment. Talked to him at the clubhouse after the game. He said, I'm not throwing him a strike there. I'm going to take the slider off the plate, and it just missed. And I need it to make sure it's elevated so Chris can catch it, and I don't throw a wild pitch, and that's how the game ends. And he said, when I let it go, I said, oh, wow, it's too far off the plate. There's no way that's going to induce a swing. That's why you saw that reaction. He was kind of surprised that he got the swing, but fortunately did. And then the Rockies scored 2 in the top of the 10th.
Well, I think, too, as a hitter, because he had thrown him some fastballs and he threw him some sliders. So to me, Dan's response was just guessing. I'm guessing he's going to throw me a fastball here. As soon as he started to see leather of the baseball, that's when he swung.
That's what it looked like. 3-1 right now on Myers. 3-2.
Just throw him one more pitch like that, you've got him. It doesn't have to be a super pitch.
Just like that.
Just like that.
He was money. Another strikeout for Ottavino. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Eric Hosmer.
This is Otto's 7th game against San Diego this year. 7 1/3 innings he's pitched. That's his 15th strikeout against San Diego. He's only given up 1 hit to them this year.
Now, this is a Padres team that in most offensive categories, they are one of the bottom 2 or 3 teams in baseball. They do strike out a lot. But right now, they have a 1-run lead in the 9th. And they've out-hit the Rockies tonight 11-7.
The one thing they have done against Colorado, they've had 18 home runs against the Rockies this year.
In 13 games. Hosmer had one in the first inning. Gave Colorado a 2-0 jump on Tyler Anderson. Anderson ended up going 6 1/3, 4 runs, 10 hits, did not walk anybody, struck out 8. Padres average 3.8 runs a game, which is 28th in baseball. Their OPS is 29th.
Their batting average is 30th.
235.
Only the White Sox and the Texas Rangers have also struck out more than the Padres.
3-0 on Hosmer. The Rockies coming off that great run we've discussed quite a bit. Against teams above 500 this year, they're now 12 games above 500, 45-33. Against teams below 500, they are just 500. And the only team on their schedule left that is below 500 is the team you're looking at, the Padres. Everybody else, obviously the Dodgers. Actually,
They're
that's not true. The Giants are also now below 500.
But still, they've been hovering right at 500. A few games above. Now they're at the 4 games below 500 to 3 games below. Excuse me, just 2 games now below 500.
I'll check where Washington is now. There's a strikeout of Hosmer. What a job by Otto. Came all the way back. The Nationals are now below 500 also, but they're again a team hovering right around 500.
A game below 500.
Yep.
Yeah, come back from a 3-0 count.
And right at 500, a team, your old team that we'll see next week, the Angels in Anaheim. Here's Hunter Renfroe.
Angels currently losing to the Diamondbacks 4-2 in the 5th inning.
So we go back to what Cargo, the wisdom of playing in the postseason a couple times and 10+ years in the big leagues. He said every game the rest of the way is going to be a playoff-like atmosphere. It does not matter who you're playing. 1-1 on Renfroe. The Rockies in the bottom of the 9th will have Desmond, Dahl, and Iannetta. We really had a feeling last inning that
I thought for sure
how that inning unfolded. 2 quick hits, Parr off the bench. Charlie. Good bunt by DJ. The Rockies were going to, at minimum, tie it up. Two and two on Renfro.
One more slider for Adam against Renfro.
Two. Got it with the fastball at 95. He struck out the side. So here we go. The Rockies will go to the bottom of the ninth inning, trailing by a run. Ian Desmond will lead it off. Alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. They don't need 7 here, they just need 2. The Rockies trail 4-3, bottom of the ninth inning. That young man is appropriately dressed now. He's got the rally cap going. The Rockies will face Kirby Yates, who's now the closer for the Padres, with Brad Hand wearing an Indians uniform these days. He's 4 out of 4, though in his last 2 outings, not saved situations, he has been scored upon. He's got a great splitter.
He's also allowed runs in 3 out of his last 6.
Desi got a pitch up, then he fired at it, fouled it straight back. Desmond's faced him 3 times, has a hit against him. Kirby Yates is a native of Hawaii.
That splitter will come in right around 87 miles an hour. Big gap in left center field for Ian.
1-2. Rockies have been held to 7 hits tonight. They left the bases loaded in the 8th. They had the bases loaded and 1 out. Strikeout, ground out. Story and Cargo. 1 out.
There's a splitter the last 2 pitches.
We'll bring up David Dahl.
You see it out of the hand on the Subaru Supermo. Uses the same arm action as the fastball. Just splits the finger. And just lets the ball come out between. That's what slows the ball down.
He gets a ton of strikeouts. 66 strikeouts. 46 plus, or excuse me, 48 plus innings. Outside on David. The big keys when a guy has a real nasty pitch, a put away pitch like Yates' splitter, so key to get ahead. So you don't have to deal with that.
Or don't miss the fastball if he gives it to you.
Exactly.
See, that's what happened with Desi, that he missed that first fastball that was up, fouled it off, and then got into a splitter count. And lefty's hitting 274 against Kirby. Right-hander 136.
2-0. And he chased there. 2-1. Yates didn't give in a fastball count.
And that's what David was trying to play percentages. He just guessed that he was going to get a fastball.
Now it's level at 2-2. After Iannetta, you'll get a pinch hitter. Most likely Ryan McMahon.
He's already on the second deck of the dugout steps. He's all helmeted up, got a bat and his gloves.
And now the Rockies down to their last out, which worked out well for them on Saturday. Chris Iannetta, home run back in the 5th, 1 for 3.
1-for-1 lifetime against Kirby. This is where if he doesn't hit it out but he reaches, you'll see Garrett Hampson then run for him.
First pitch strike. Rockies tonight have struck out 10 times, 6 against starter Erlin. Castillo and Stammen both had a strikeout, now 2 by Yates here in the 9th. This ball well hit left center field, way back and caught. And that's the ball game. Iannetta bidding for his 2nd home run, came up just a couple of feet short. And the Rockies a disappointing 4-3 loss to begin this homestand. They dropped to just 7-6 this year against the Padres. Robbie Erlin gets the victory. Tyler Anderson takes the loss, the 5th save for Kirby Yates. The final score, San Diego 4 and the Rockies 3. I think the Rockies are going to lament that 8th inning when they had the bases loaded and just 1 out and could not push across the equalizer. Let's get into center field right now. Here's Connor.
Drew, thank you very much. He mentioned that 8th inning, bases loaded. That's a bad situation for the Rocks when they need it.
It is a bad situation. You obviously want a productive out to score the run. Unfortunately, the Rockies weren't able to. Not the outcome they wanted. We'll show you all the highlights coming up on the Toyota postgame show.